Welcome to Fourth Quarter Sports and Biz. I'm your host, Marcus Tuggle, and today I got with me the city legend, great guy, very humble about his career. You know, a lot of you guys know him as Nook, Skinny Chip Yadet, but today, you know, in all respects, we're going to just call you Elbert Mack, man. How you doing?
So I'm good, man. Thanks for having me.
Oh, man, most definitely. I appreciate you taking out your time, you know, at your schedule. You know, you still being an entrepreneur and, you know, moving around a lot, man. I appreciate you taking out your time and, you know, chop it up with me today.
Absolutely.
So, you know, I had to do my homework on you. You know, the crazy thing is when I first started this show, I was like, man, I got to have Nick be the first one. You know what I mean? Just because I think the way that you've always carried yourself is a way that, you know, I think a lot of guys can learn from, you know, and you're not the guy that, you know, always, oh, you know, this is the way I'm doing, this is what I'm doing. I've never seen you be that way. I remember the first time I actually met you, you know, it was at Town East. Like, I always knew about you, but I remember the time you was actually playing for Tampa Bay, and I think you were shopping. And I said, hey, Elbert Mack. And you turned around quickly, like, oh, yeah, what's up? Like, shook my hand. I remember we was in Foot Locker, and I was like, man, that's dope. Because, you know, I've been around, you know, to where you meet some guys, and they, you know, they ain't, hey, yeah, cool. And, you know, you one guy that always been solid, man. So
Everybody's not built the same, man. Everybody's not.
Yeah, most definitely. So, you know, I'm going to just dig right into it, you know. North High guy, you know what I mean?
Once a Redskin, always a Redskin.
Oh, man.
Y'all know the slogan.
Yeah, grew up Shady Brook.
Yes,
you
sir.
know. What was some of that like, you know, coming from that background and going on to where you were, you know, today, or just, you know, looking back on everything, how was that?
It was a blessing, man. I look back, and I'm thankful, basically for, you know, the upbringing and the background that I do have, and just being raised in that environment, man, was just such a blessing in disguise, man. You get so many pros, and you also are exposed to the cons as well. You know what I mean? So. You get like the best of both worlds, kind of. You know what I mean? You're not like a sheltered kid, but at the same time, you know, you are exposed to certain things that go on around the neighborhood and stuff like that, man. And it kind of, I mean, it rounded me into who I am today, basically. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Just being able to see both sides of it, I guess.
And I think the crazy thing is, bro, you're like a big brother to our generation, but you know, I know coming up, you probably was a little brother in the ways, you know. So some of the guys that I might look up to in the city and look at city legends, you know, you like, oh, okay, you know, cool. You know, you was that guy. You know,
I was the same way. I had guys that I looked up to in the neighborhood, you know, through high school, and even when I got out of school, you know what I mean. You know, certain people just, you know, left impressions on me, you know what I mean, and inspired me to be different, you know what I mean, to be who I wanted to be, and it stuck with me, man. It's just that's how it goes in the neighborhood, man. You got a lot of heroes, man.
Yeah, and see, the great thing is, the one thing I realized, man, is like, your life could have went either way.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
That's the story I be wanting to tell, man.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because you have choices.
Yeah, and we both from the north side. You know, I grew up on Spruce. You was on Shady Brook. We're not that far from each other. And, you know, the thing I realized today is like, man, a couple guys I grew up with, you know, we all took our different routes. But, you know, the route I took, I'm blessed about. You
Absolutely.
know, and the thing about it is, the route you took and the money that you've been blessed to be able to make, man, it's not normal.
Yeah.
You know, especially from us. You know what I mean? So seeing you do it in the way you handle it, I think it's just it just says a lot, because you're definitely a family man. I've seen.
Sure.
I mean, I think that's something everybody knows. You know, and salute Mama Mac. You know, that's a lady that I think everybody in the city has just always had heavy respect for.
That's the
backbone. You know what I
backbone.
mean? And then just seeing the way that you carry yourself as you went on to be not only a professional athlete, but still stayed a father. That's one thing I can always say. I was like, man, that dude, like, period, man. He always stayed a father, always stayed at it. But we're going to jump a little forward. So you at Butler, you know what I mean? Juco, I'm a Juco guy. I went to Coffeyville, you know, not too friend up on, you know, Butler, but you know, it is what it is, you know. So, but how was that, man, you know, and starting out at, you know, that level? Because, you know, I know at that level, you know, a lot of guys didn't know if they wanted to go on and push it, and that JUCO life can literally, you know, it'll make or break you and let you know if that game is for you or not. Yeah. So how was that?
JUCO was everything. That was, I say, the stepping stone. You know what I mean? That was the hurdle that got me going and got me propelled and got my momentum going, man. Obviously, coming from North High, playing in the City League, with so many restrictions with the USD 259 and stuff like that, man, we're not exposed to the same stuff that some out-of-state kids are. You know what I mean? And when you get to go junior college, you get to see that firsthand. You know, these kids are playing spring ball. middle school spring ball. You know what I mean? Like, so they getting to play football all year round, and not just football, but all sports.
Yeah.
They just have bigger schedule. They play more games. You know what I mean? Their seasons last longer. So going to junior college and being exposed to those type of athletes, I'd say it taught me how to compete a little bit more. You know what I mean? Because I was competitive here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I didn't really know what being competitive was until I got to junior college, for sure. And when you get there and you see 15 guys that are built just like you, you see 10, 12 guys that run just as fast as you. You know what I mean? You see 6, 7, 8 guys that are bigger than you, stronger than you, faster than you. You know what I mean? Might have a bigger mental capacity. You know what I mean? Over you. So it just taught you how to hone in on what you do well. You know what I mean? On the football field, and what you can bring to the team to get yourself, where you want to be, or being able to make it and stuff like that, man. Junior college is tough, man. Yeah. Anybody can tell you, man. Like it's the craziest situation, because when I was playing, it was still the 12 out of state rule. You know what I mean? So being able to see that, and you got 50 out of state kids, you know what I mean, on campus, and only 12 of them is gonna make the team, and probably only 25, 26 of them are gonna be redshirted to even stick around. So then you got another 15, 25, 30 kids that are gonna be sent home. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean, or gonna be sent to other junior colleges, or gonna be whatever. You know what I mean? So making that team and being part of that team was a big deal, especially back then, because there was only so many spots. And then to be an in-state kid playing in an out-of-state position
and still succeed.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what made me drive. You know what I mean? Like, I remember going to Dodge City on a visit and listening to the coach, the head coach at Dodge City at the time, tell us on the board, like, this is where we're going to play our out-of-state kids, and this is where we play our in-state kids. And I remember sitting there, and I'm an in-state kid wanting to play corner or safety, and I'm sitting there like, well, what's the point of you having me at this visit if you've already predetermined that this is where your out-of-state kids are going to play at? Okay. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. And I remember leaving and calling Coach Middleton, because he was the coach there at the time, and he was the one that was recruiting us. And I remember calling him and saying, I'm ready to go home. What's the point of me being at Dodge City if you've already predetermined who you're going to play there, regardless of statute, regardless of size, regardless of how good they play the game and stuff like that? You've already predetermined that the out-of-state kids are better than your in-state kids. Okay. And I remember just taking that mentality, man, and going to Butler with that same shit. With that same mentality, like, man, I'm gonna show you what Kansas football is about. You know what I mean? I can show you I can play just as good. And not even better than the Florida kids or the Georgia kids or the Arkansas kids or wherever they come from.
The guys you was going against ain't no punks.
No, absolutely. Like I got a rap sheet. You know what I mean? I got a rap sheet. You know what I mean? Like I didn't get where I got playing, nobodies.
You know the one thing, man, when before we even shot that segment, I kind of did some homework, and I was like, man, I want to know what people think of Elbert Mack, the football player. Mm-hmm. And what's the one thing people always said?
What's that?
Man, that dude's work ethic crazy.
Yeah.
They said, dude ain't the strongest, dude ain't gonna be the fastest, but there's not gonna be many people that's gonna outwork him. Yeah. And I was like, damn, that's something you don't hear. Usually you hear, oh man, homie fast. Mm-hmm. Homie can lock down. Man, they said, dog, his work ethic is crazy. Yeah. They said, bro, he just he a dude that'll live in it. Mm-hmm. And I think that has showed through your career, like, you really work on what you do. Absolutely. You know what I mean? You study it, you know it, you're not taking guesses, you're not half-assing it, mm-hmm. and I think that has showed. Mm-hmm. And so with you leaving Buco and going to Troy, and what people don't know, man, you led the nation in interceptions. Yeah, I didn't know that until I did more research. Mm-hmm. I said, damn. So you went from leading the nation in interceptions at Troy, committing at Troy, you're coming from the hood, you go to Juco, you get tested, you pass that test, and then you go on to Troy. So that's a bigger test. Mm-hmm. The bigger test is, can you live out that dream? Yeah. Will you live out that dream? Yeah. You know what I mean? So during that whole time, you still pushing the narrative forward, but then at the same time, you represent Wichita, man. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And you showed us the right way. Mm-hmm. But how was it when you really look back and say, hey, I led the nation in interceptions at Troy? That's not a check you can cash, but it's something in your life that you can sit there and say, because a lot of guys can't say that, man.
I mean, it's forever. Obviously, it's going to be forever in the books. You know what I mean? As an accomplishment that I've accomplished. But rewinding just a little bit, you know what I mean? Like, I remember playing in the national championship game at Butler my freshman year, and I'm probably 150 pounds. You know what I mean? And we go against Pearl River, which is they were undefeated at the time as well, and we collide in the national championship game, and they have a guy by the name of Larry Brackens, He's a wide receiver. He's probably like 22, 23 years old. He's already been to a couple colleges, in and out. I don't really know his whole background history, but he was somewhat of a trouble kid, one of those types. But he's a freak athlete, He plays basketball. He runs track, He plays wide receiver. He plays defensive back. He's catching punts, He does everything. Yeah. And then to add to that, he's 6'4", 6'5". He's Calvin Johnson before Calvin Johnson.
Yeah.
And like I said, we play him in the national championship game, man. He gives me fits, man, all game. And people always ask me, who was the hardest wide receiver you ever guarded in the NFL? And his name is always the one that always comes to me first. And I just remember being out there on that field with him, man. And I remember I gave it all I had from my heart. Yeah. But physically, I wasn't ready. Mentally, I wasn't ready. You know what I mean? Like, I'm out there just playing football, but I wasn't where I needed to be. And it was a tough game. We lost like 35-14. I gave up a bunch of passes. You know what I mean? But I remember that ride home is what kind of sparked that fire under me, man. Because I just remembered, like, I'd never be dogged like that again. I'd never let somebody take advantage of me like that again. I'll be prepared. I'll be ready for the next time, I go up against an opponent with that type of skill set. You know what I mean? Because I kind of took it for granted just because of the league they were playing in. You know what I mean? I kind of fell into the same trap that some of the guys were talking about in a lot, in the meetings and stuff like that. Like, oh, that's whoop, whoop, whoop. They sorry. You know what I mean? They ain't gonna do us like that. And that's what I'm thinking. Like, oh, yeah, ain't gonna do me like that. And when you get out there and you actually see this athlete, you see why he was able to do these people the way he did them. You know what I mean? So before I got to Troy, I already had my mind made up that I'll never be, I guess you could say, disrespected. Because in the game, we talk stuff, and that's how we say it. But I told myself that I'll never be disrespected or disrespect myself again by going out there and not being physically prepared and half-assed. You know what I mean? So before I got to Troy, I was ready to go. And then when I get to Troy, and some of the first nicknames are, put it like this: it's being at Butler, it's a bunch of in-state kids, it's a bunch of Kansas kids, and you got the out-of-state kids. Now going to Troy, now I'm the out-of-state kid, and we're a bunch of in-state kids. The Alabamas, the Floridas, the Georgias, all those people are close to home. Yeah. Now I'm the out-of-state kid. So when I first get to campus, it's, oh, you from Kansas? So that was my name for like the first 2 or 3 weeks. Kansas. You know what I mean? Oh, that's Kansas. That's Kansas. You know what I mean? And then that's when it kind of dawned on me, like, dang, you really far away from home. You know what I mean? Like, you're from Kansas. These people, you got an accent. You know what I mean? Like, the girls, you got an accent.
It's kind of unknown to them.
You know what I mean? Yeah, for sure. You know what I mean? Like, they don't know what that is. Everybody, it's black people in Kansas.
Man.
So before I get there, you know what I mean? I've already established a lot of that stuff, man. And being able to finish my football career there, being able to graduate there, just being exposed to the different culture, all of that itself was, just a blessing in disguise, man. It was just a great experience. And then being able to leave my mark, leading the nation, interceptions and stuff like that, man, was just all a blessing, man.
And see, the crazy thing is, bro, when you think of it like that, you let the nation, and then you move forward to it's draft time.
Yeah.
It's time to see if my dreams can become reality. At that time, you got on your back that, hey, let's let this nation in interceptions. And surprisingly, you go undrafted. That mode, I know it can turn you on and it can turn you off real quick. Me, myself, being in the position today and dealing with some guys that are undrafted or dealing with some guys that are just kind of on the edge. That again gave you another
incentive,
luggage, and an incentive in the bag to where it's like, I gotta prove them wrong again. I did it when I was at Juco. I did it when I was at Troy. I did it at North. I did it at Buco. Now I'm doing it at Troy. And now y'all still don't believe this shit. After 7 rounds, y'all don't believe in me. After leading the nation in picks, you could have carried that way.
It started way back in Little League. I got benched 8th grade. I got my position took, my number took, all of that. Felt disrespected, slapped around. You know what I mean? I was the quarterback for the Tigers for 4 years, and then my 8th grade year, I'm not big enough, fast enough, strong enough. You know what I mean? And the guy that came in was a hell of a guy. Odell Bell. I mean, I couldn't compete with him.
City guy.
For sure. Yeah. You know what I mean? He was bigger than me, stronger than me, faster than me. You know what I mean? But I felt disrespected by not Odell. That's my dog. But by the coaching staff. You know what I mean? Like, winning means that much to you.
At the moment.
Yeah, winning means that much to you that you'll my position, that's one thing. But my number, come on, man. Like, I get to practice and I don't even have my number no more. Like, you gave my number away. You gave all that. Yeah, and all of that is what gave me the incentive to be who I am today. That's why I compete the way I compete. That's why Kobe's my favorite player. Like I said, I'll never feel like that again. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm not big enough. I'm not fast enough. I've been running this huddle for 4 years. You know what I mean? And then I show up to practice and I don't got my job no more. I don't got my number. I'm 13 and I'm 12, 13 years old. You know what I mean? I went home and cried.
Yeah, because that could tear a kid up. But again, bro, the way that you've carried yourself over time, like, I honestly feel like the city don't give you enough respect. And you're not a guy, again, you're not a guy I've known to care about it or like, dog, you're not even a guy that care about the blue check mark online right now.
Yeah, for sure.
And the way that you could have, and like, I think it's just me being around the game, bro, and just seeing how some guys will carry themselves, being in the position you are, being the money that you was making. Man, some guys will really get Hollywood. And the thing is, though, I don't think it's nobody that can fix their mouth and say that, you know, Nook came back to the city a time and got Hollywood. Because, bro, I've seen times where you came back in rodeo days. Show love to everybody.
Absolutely.
I think everybody and their mama right now can talk about how when you came back to rodeo and the Trinidad James night, Mac showing love to everybody. You see 200 shots going around. I'm like, bro, I don't even drink at the time. They was like, yeah, but Nook said you good. And I'm like, damn, I don't even know homie like that, but, you know, homie showing love. And then they was like, oh, y'all, you know, he normally like that, bro. He normally like that. And then, you know, seeing other greats come out the city, you know, Chris Harper's, the, you know, Joe Randall's, the Brown brothers, the Blake Bells and all this. And the funny thing is, bro, I feel like you have the right to say that, hey, I pushed this narrative forward, even though you don't have to, you know, but I've pushed this narrative forward to give the Wichita guys, hey, we can do this. You know what I mean? We can do that. And we don't have to do it the way they want us to do it.
Yeah.
We ain't got to be loud about it. We ain't got to be, you know, posing for the cameras every time, even though, you know, that way now is so common and it's so known, but you're still in that position to where you don't want to do it. So moving forward from Troy and Buco, you know what I mean? You leave now. You going into a camp. You going into Tampa's camp, correct? First camp.
Correct.
So you know what? You know at that time again, you're proving yourself. You know what I mean? How did that feel going from Troy to improving myself to now? I'm proving myself in the league, and I'm on this roster. You know, I'm on this roster now. I'm actually an NFL player. I can call moms and say, "Mom, I'm a player." You know what I mean? What was that, man? Because that's probably a feeling all these kids would like to really hear. You know what I mean? And all the youth want to know, how was that, man? That would be something I want to know. You know what I mean? How was that? You really, your job now is your dream.
Yeah.
It's different. You know, you're not filling out no application for that. This is something you've been doing, like you said, 13, 12.
Yeah.
So this is not an application you're filling out. This is something you've worked for, and this is something that people are enjoying watching you do. But at the end of the day, this is your job.
Absolutely.
You know, how was that?
It was, at first it started off a dream come true.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'll just be honest with you. Like, it was a dream come true. It wasn't a job. You know what I mean? I never looked at football as a job. I looked at football as sports. You know what I mean? It was fun. Going to Tampa, being my first stop, being undrafted, obviously, like I said, that was more the incentive. I went against anybody. I mean, I played against Calvin Johnson's in college. I mean, Percy Harvin's. I mean, the list goes on. Like, it wasn't like I shied away from anybody. Like, Troy, one thing that we did at Troy is we played everybody. And that was like our motto. We'll play anybody, anytime, anywhere. We used to have t-shirts that said that. So me going undrafted, me leading the nation in interceptions, but the number one thing that everybody talked about was the same stuff they talked about in high school. How big is he? Is he big enough?
It can't measure hard.
That's cool. College, how big is he? Is he big enough? You know what I mean? I remember coaches. I remember Iowa State came in, and the first thing he did is put his hands on me. What's up, man? You're gonna graduate? You know, you're gonna graduate in December? No, I mean, I might. What's up? You know what I mean? Why you feeling on me? You got me in here because you like what you seen on tape. But then when you get me in here, you might not like what you see in stature and my size. You know what I mean? Like, so it was just kind of hard for me to try to figure that stuff out. But the one thing that I feel like helped me a lot is when I got to Tampa. I tried so hard in the offseason to put so much weight on, and I put on like probably 10 pounds. I was probably like 180. That was probably the biggest I've ever been at the time. And I got to camp. And I remember running around and stuff like that. And I remember Gruden pulled me to the side, him and Coach Kiffin, who was the defensive coordinator. And they're like, man, you looking heavy. You all right? And I just remember telling them, like, man, I'm having hamstring problems. Like, I don't know what's going on, but my hamstrings feel tight. And the strength and conditioning coach was like, well, how much weight did you put on? You know what I mean? And I'm like, well, I put on probably, 10, 12 pounds, thinking that this is what y'all want.
Yeah.
Y'all want a big corner. Y'all want guys that are 180, 190, solid, rock. Yeah. And I remember Coach Kiffin looked at me. He said, that's not why we brought you here. We brought you here from what we seen on tape. How big are you right there? And I'm like 172, 173. He's like, well, that's where we want you.
So that's again telling you, we want you for you.
We want you for you. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that gave me all of the confidence that I needed to continue my growth as far as trying to grow in the league, because that gave me it gave me a reassurance that, okay, Y'all like what y'all seen on tape. Y'all not worried about my size.
Yeah.
Y'all just want me to come out here and play and compete.
They want you to be you.
And honestly, that's why I picked Tampa, because I got offered probably 3 times the money to go to Kansas City at the time. I probably got offered 2 times the money to go to Tennessee at the time. The Cleveland Browns was on my head, you know what I mean? But I took the least amount of money. My signing bonus was $5,000. Excuse me. My signing bonus was $5,000 to go to Tampa.
Man,
I turned down
different CBA.
I turned down $35,000, turned down $20,000, all of that to go to Tampa, off of the fact that Rondé was a smaller corner. Buchanan was on the roster. He was a smaller corner.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? These are Eugene Wilson. You know what I mean? These are
So
smaller.
Stop you right there. Before you made your decision, you did your research.
Absolutely.
And that's the thing a lot of guys have to understand
Mm-hmm.
is, it's okay to want to go to that team. Like you said, the more money, the more this, the more that. But the thing is, though, you did your due diligence. You studied to where hey, I can put myself in a better position if I do this. I go down here and take that lesser money, I'm going to still be
People
on
are
the
human.
ball.
You know what I mean? These coaches are human too. They have a lifestyle. I mean, they have a type of prototypical player they like. You know what I mean? Like you see it all over the world. You know what I mean? Like all through sports. You see this coach might like 6'5" corners. This coach might like 5'8" corners. You know what I mean? So it might be 5 corners on the roster that's 5'8", and then you might play the Packers and let's say Al Davis. Al Davis like size and speed.
Most
He don't care what if you the biggest, I want him. You the fastest, I want him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what the Raiders were known for, being big. I remember my first time playing the Raiders, they walked in and everybody is giant. Everybody's huge. From the quarterback to the wide receivers to the D linemen, they look like, gladiators.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And in Tampa, you got all us. Talib is the biggest corner we got. He's 6'2".
All right, man. So one thing that you have done in your career that was like just amazing to me, man, when you picked off Eli and took it back to the crib in New Orleans. Mm-hmm. Man, I seen that and I said, man, he better keep that ball. I said, man, he better keep that ball. And then you go looking forward today, him retiring and, pretty sure going to be a Hall of Fame quarterback. Mm-hmm. That's a guy that you can say, hey, I took that one to the crib. I had a lot of these, but that one you took to the crib. Mm-hmm. How did that one make you feel when you seen, now he retiring and like, man, I took that one to the crib?
What people don't know, man, is my grandfather died the night before. Elbert Mack, I'm the third, so this is Elbert Mack Sr. He died that night, morning / whatever.
Okay.
So waking up that morning playing the Giants, I already had a heavy heart. You know what I mean? And this is stuff that people don't know. You know what I mean? And I just remember going into that game thinking like, I know all of my family's gonna be watching, and I know all of my family is together at some point somewhere in Wichita, just because of the death that we had in my family.
I got you.
And it just felt good to be able to make a play on Eli, and for it to be so surreal, like when I get back to the locker room, and you know what I mean, to see so many, we love you, great game, you know what I mean? Yeah, like you took our mind away from, you know what I mean, that particular situation just for a few hours, you know what I mean? And I remember just crying when I got to the locker room because I just had a lot on my mind, man. Like that was the game where I got into it with Spagnola, you know what I mean? Like, I just had a lot going on, man. Like I expressed to you just a little while ago, man. Like at that point in time is when I start seeing the business for what it was. You know what I mean? And football was still fun, but it just wasn't what I thought it was going to be, especially going from Tampa to New Orleans. And this is my first time grass was greener on the other side type situation.
Okay.
And for me, it was cool, but it wasn't greener. You know what I mean? If anything, it was the same, just a different uniform.
Different city.
Yeah, different city, different teammates, stuff like that. But being able to pick off Eli Manning, man, I mean, he's just a regular. I'm not saying he was a regular quarterback. I was just making a regular routine play.
I got you.
You get what I'm saying? Like, it wouldn't have mattered
job.
That's my job. Like, it wouldn't have mattered who it was. But, everybody's like, oh, that's Eli. You know what I mean? I'm looking, that's the quarterback.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You throwing darts, I'm trying to catch him.
No matter who they's going to put in that position.
Exactly, regardless of who it was. So that day and that game, for real, will always mean something to me. And it's not just because I picked off Eli Manning. I just remember how heavy my heart was. Yeah, I just remember how heavy my heart was.
That's crazy.
During that game, man.
Yeah,
so,
that's crazy. That's like having that certain type of music that it take you back to that moment of your life.
Absolutely.
When you first heard it.
Yeah.
So definitely understand that one, man. So pushing it forward again, you know what I mean? You're in New Orleans, you know what I mean? Now, did you go to Houston first, or Houston was after New Orleans?
Yeah, Houston was after New Orleans.
Houston was after New Orleans. So again, Houston, you said it. You know, it was at the point where it was more business.
It was way more business.
So at that time, you getting ready to walk away from the game.
No, I did not. No, at that point, when I signed in my 6th year to play at Houston, I still had aspirations of playing 15, 20 years. You know what I mean? At that point, I'm still like, oh man, this is just it.
Feeling like
I'm a vet now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm a vet, so I know what they're looking for. I know what to expect. You know what I mean? Like,
this mine.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's easy for me to make the team every year. It's easy for me to prepare for training camp. It's easy for me to prepare for game days. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, it's hard to prepare for all of that and not be able to go out there and showcase it.
Mm.
You get what I'm saying? Like, I'm still preparing every day like I'm going to play.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And then when I get to Houston, you have all these false narratives, these false things that you've been promised, and it just never comes, to tuition for you. You know, it never flourishes for you. And after a while, I'm like, I'll play the game because I love playing the game, not because the money, the cars, the clothes, the hoes. You know what I mean?
Enjoyed this.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. That's
your
why
life.
my work ethic was what it was. You know what I mean? That's why I stayed after and ran sprints. That's why I demanded the most out of my teammates. You know what I mean? I played quarterback and point guard my entire life. So all I know how to do is to lead. You get what I'm saying? Like, I'm in charge of running the plays, make sure all the plays go right.
That's where the work ethic came.
I'm the huddle. Here, y'all come here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, this is the play. You know what I mean? That's me.
Yeah, leadership.
So when I get on the field and I'm not able to showcase that or push that or thrive off of that or feel some type of way off of that, y'all can have it.
Okay.
And that was, that in itself was the spiral, I guess people want to call it. For me wanting to retire early, man, I'm just not. It's not about the dollar. You can't dangle no dollar bill in my face and I'm like, ooh, you know what I mean? Like, that don't mean nothing. Like,
okay.
I'm gonna keep my integrity first.
So you leaving the NFL, retirement early, blessed to be able to do that.
Blessed.
Walk away healthy.
Blessed.
No bad head drama, nothing like that. But then you come home and now hold up now. I seen that you did get drafted over in China.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know, was that before the Force or was that after the Force?
That was after the Force.
After the Force. Okay, so let's jump to the Force. You come home and join the Force.
To play football, have fun again.
I seen that. I said, why?
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. I said,
enjoy
why?
playing the game.
I said, he don't need to.
Yeah.
And I seen that in the paper. I said, man, why not need to do that?
Yeah.
I think I was in Houston at the time. I said, man, why not need to do that? I remember I was sitting and I was like, I just don't get it. I said, he don't need to. This man is already proven. Yeah. He can ball anywhere. Yeah. He balled on the highest level. Mm-hmm. But then again, after knowing you and seeing this man did it for the love of the city and you brought a championship to the city.
That's the great
part. You know
part,
what I mean? So and then I looked at it, I said, oh, this is a different dude. Yeah. I said, this dude probably ain't even caring about the check. Probably ain't even cashing them mugs. I said, man, this dude really balling. He loved his game.
It wasn't about the check, man. It wasn't. It really wasn't, man. Like I said, it was all for the love of the game, man. Like, that was what I was missing the last couple of years. You know what I mean? Like, playing in Houston, I'm only playing half the time, getting a few snaps, throwing in on nickel and dime every now and then. You know what I mean? Like I said, I wanted to prepare and be able to showcase what I prepared for.
Yeah.
I want to show y'all what I'm doing. So when I retired, man, the first thing I did was came home, got my barbershop together, went to school, X, Y, and Z. And then I ran into a couple guys that I played with at Butler that were playing with the Force. And then I even ran into Clarence and stuff like that, man. And they just like, man, come play. Hell yeah, I'm gonna play. Y'all need a DB, I'm gonna play. You know what I mean? Because I'm not playing for the money. I'm playing for the love of the game.
You also do flag football.
Absolutely.
Enjoyment of the game.
Enjoyment of the game.
I enjoy seeing y'all ball, man.
Yeah.
I enjoy that. You know, my first experience of seeing the flag football thing was, seeing you in the front your cookies and seeing, I was like, man, this is dope. This dude Nook is out here balling. He could honestly be doing anything, but this dude is actually balling. Yeah. This dude don't have the pride and the ego to where I'm not doing it. And you even got to go to the flag football national thing. Yeah. You know what I mean? I seen when you was doing that, and I was like, man, this dude for real just love the game.
I just love the game.
That's what helped me seen it. I said, man, that dude just love the game. Mm-hmm. So, and I see you Kobe Bryant out,
sure.
And I know that's something that probably hurt us all, you know what I mean? Especially you, because I just always know you have been a big LA fan. Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's tatted on you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What was something that you would say Kobe definitely taught you or left in you? You know what I mean?
Here recently, it's became the Mamba mentality.
Yeah.
But before it was the Mamba mentality, it was just what he showed you. It wasn't what he said on camera. Oh, I'm gonna go out there and win a chip. I'm gonna go out there. He showed you every night. He was the hardest worker. He was in the locker room. You know what I mean? He's icing, taking care of his body. He's actually putting this. He's showing you like it's a physical thing that he's giving you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's the energy that you can feel. And just watching him, you can feel that from him. You know what I mean? Like, and then on top of that, he's actually producing. He's winning championships. You know what I mean? He's getting into it with Shaq because Shaq's work ethic is not where he wants it to be.
Pushing people.
He's pushing people. He's pushing the envelope to make people better. He's making his teammates better around him. He's pushing the front office to go get players. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's demanding every day the best out of everybody around him. You know what I mean? And that's why he'll forever be my favorite, greatest player ever. On top of that, the greatest Laker ever.
Man, you know the crazy part? I used to hate Kobe.
That's you're supposed to.
But this is why I hated him.
You're supposed to hate people like that.
Bro, I hated him because I was a big Iverson fan back in the day. And I'm like, man, you know, like I hated him because he was so good. My brother was a big Kobe fan.
Yeah.
You couldn't tell my brother nothing. Still to this day, you can't tell him nothing about Kobe. But the thing is, though, I hated Kobe because he forced you to like him. He forced you to become a fan. Oh, you ain't gonna like me? Well, what I'm gonna do is go destroy whoever you like.
Demand respect.
And I'm gonna win that championship by doing it. So I was like, man, you gotta like this dude.
For sure.
And then, you know, the thing is, I learned more about Kobe after he retired. Kobe was a beast in the business room. He took that same mindset and took it over there. And was.
I think a lot of people learned a lot more about Kobe after he
I
retired.
definitely learned way more about him, you know, after retirement.
Yeah.
So I would definitely say that's somebody that.
Because you only got to see one thing,
everybody.
you know what I mean, the basketball.
That's it.
But then when he retired and showed you that he's bigger than just an athlete, he's a daddy, you know what I mean, he's a businessman, you know what I mean, he's all of these different type of characters or whatever you want to call them, or all under one umbrella.
He's being in Gigi, man. That was a down moment, I think, for the world.
Yeah.
And, you know, not just athletes, but the world. You know, I think that affected everyone. You know, and so, you know, moving forward, football's done. You know what I mean? Right now, you're just enjoying it with the flag football, you know. But the thing is, though, you're on round 2 now. You know what I mean? Skinny Chip Yatta is here.
Yeah.
You know, recording artist. You know, that's round 2, man.
Yeah. You take my round 2. I remember you was one of the first ones that said something about round 2.
Because I thought about it. I said, this is round 2 for this man.
Yeah. And I meant that when I said it.
This is round 2.
Yeah,
and the thing about it is, the mindset you got, dog, and the work ethic, I'm not surprised if I wouldn't be surprised tomorrow if they said, hey, Nook all over the radio, Nook is all over the internet. It wouldn't surprise me, no, because it's like this dude's work ethic has proved it. You know what I mean? You ain't got to be the, you know, top lyrically guy. You know, it's just your style of what you got to have. You carried yourself. And I think that's something that, man, I just wish you the best on. You know,
Appreciate
and I'm
it.
always going to be a supporter on what you do.
Absolutely.
So, man, I want to appreciate you for coming on the show,
Thank
bro.
you for having me,
You know, y'all make sure y'all look forward to Skinny Chip Yatta music, Apple Music, Spotify, all that. You know, and make
Miami
sure,
or Northeast hero, you feel me?
you know, and pull up to Midwest Blends and get you a nice edge up.
Absolutely.
You know, ladies, quit having your man looking crazy, getting booked up at Midwest Blends, and you know, holla at Mac, man. Thank y'all for watching. You know, look forward to everything coming soon.